Today we're going to look at the production side and look at production possibilities and opportunity cost. In an economy, it's rare when one business makes just one product type. Um, General Mills doesn't just make one type of cereal, they make dozens and dozens types. Car manufacturers, they don't just make one type of car, they make several models. They make cars versus trucks. So the decision of what to make, it comes down to a couple different aspects. The first is how much can they possibly make? And this brings up the first term we'll look at, which is production possibilities frontiers. So a production possibilities frontier is basically the maximum combination of goods and services that a firm can make given their current resources, their current technology. So when we look at economics, we break it down, we drastically simplify it and look at two goods. And so let's look at an example to start out. So here we have a here we have two goods, and we're going to say that a car manufacturer or an automobile manufacturer can only make two goods, either cars or trucks. So let's say that if they were devoting they have so many people, they have so many machines, if they're devoting all of their resources to making trucks, so they're making 0 cars. In this example, let's say that they can make 36 trucks. If they want to make 1 car, the maximum amount of trucks they can make, let's say, are 35. If they were going to make 2 trucks, let's say the most that they could make was 33. And then let's say 30, 26, 21, 15, 8, and 0. So a production possibility frontier is a graphical representative of that, which we see over here. So here is, in this example, the PPF, which is, all right, come on. Let's move you. All right, it's not working. So anyway, there it is. So it's the production possibility frontier, the maximum combination of goods and services that can be produced. Now, when we look at this production possibility frontier, this PPF, there's 3 areas to look at. And let me go here. All right. So on this production possibility frontier, any point that is on the production possibility frontier, anywhere along this line, we say that that is efficient. Okay, we call that we say that is efficient. Anywhere in here on this line is efficient. We say production efficiency. Basically, the formal definition is with production efficiency is that you cannot make more of one good without making less of another. So basically, with production efficiency, it's saying that given your resources, you are making the most that you possibly can. Okay? And so that's an important term to see. So while we say that any point that is on the production possibility frontier is efficient, let's here. What about these points inside? So for example, let's say we were making 20 trucks and 2 cars. All right. So we're at this point right here. Okay. Well, at that point, if we're making 2 cars, we're making 20 trucks. With production efficiency, the idea is that, we're doing the best that we can. We are we can't make more of one good without making less of another. Well, if we look over here, we can, on our production possibility frontier, we can see that if we are making 2 cars, we can make up to 33 trucks. And if we're making 20 trucks, we can make roughly a little more than 5 cars. So we can make more of both or one without making less the other, or we can make more of both. So any point that is on the inside here, we say is attainable because you can make it, but inefficient because you're not doing the best you can. You are not producing at the highest level. What about out here? So let's say we are making 4 cars, and let's say 35 trucks. So we're making, at the point out here, of 4 cars and 25 trucks. So anywhere outside the production possibility frontier, all right, let's see what this case is. 4 cars, 35 trucks. Well, based on the production possibility frontier, which is the maximum combination, if we're making 4 cars, the most amount of trucks we make is 26, so we can't make 35. So anywhere outside the production possibility frontier is going to be unattainable. So again, if you're looking at your production possibility frontier, anywhere on is efficient, anywhere on the inside is going to be attainable, but inefficient. Anywhere on the outside is going to be unattainable. If we go back to our slide here, the other thing we need to look at then is this idea of trade-off and opportunity cost. So when we talked about for the individuals, we said every decision you make involves a trade-off. You can do, if you're going to do A, you can't do B. If you're going to do B, you can't do A. So you're trading off one for the other. Now this also happens with production. And when you do that, you have to look at the opportunity cost. And the opportunity cost is the cost of what you're giving up. So for example, let's go back to our example here. And let's get rid of some of these points here. And that. So let's say that we are currently making at the point up here, which is A. All right. So our point A, which is 0 cars and 36 trucks. Okay. So let's say now, let's go and look at the second point, which is going to be your point B, which is going to be 1 car and 35 trucks. All right, so let's look at this point here. So when you go from point A to point B, all right, you see the cars going from 0 cars to 1 car, and the number of trucks going from 36 to 35. So let's look at the opportunity cost. And so the opportunity cost is the cost of what you give up. So going from point A to point B, of 0 to 1 cars. So when you go from 0 to 1 cars, you're giving up 1 truck. So because you're going from 36 to 35. So in order to make that first car, you have to give up a truck. So if we look at that, so from going from 0 to 1 cars, you're giving up 1 truck. So that's your opportunity cost of that first car. So the opportunity cost of that first car is going to be 1 truck. Now that's important, that 1 truck part. It's not just one, because you're just not giving up a unit of something, you're giving up an actual truck. What about as you go from 1 to 2? As you go from 1 to 2, your truck production goes from 35 to 33. So for going from 1 to 2, or the cost of just that second car, to make that second car, not worrying about the first one, you're going to lose out on 2 trucks. And so the opportunity cost of that second car is going to be 2 trucks. Okay. And if we go through all the way down and do this, if you just keep going, because these are going up by 1. Oops. That. All right. These are the opportunity costs of each one. So the opportunity cost of the first car is 1 truck. The second car is 2 trucks. Third is 3. So what you're seeing here is that the more cars you make, because your car production is always just going up by 1, 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. The number of trucks you have to give up for each additional car is getting larger and larger. So you're giving up more and more. This brings up this idea of increasing opportunity cost. And an increasing opportunity cost is basically occurring here. And that's why we have this shape here. All right, that's why we don't have a straight line. Because each additional car you make, you're seeing a larger and larger drop in the number of trucks. So why is that? The reason why is that if you're so let's say you're running this facility, all right, you're making cars and trucks. Currently you're at this point here, you're making all trucks. You decide you want to make a car. Well, who are you going to take away from making the trucks? And we'll talk about this a little more in a different part of the chapter, but what you're going to do is you're going to take away from the trucks that person who is, relatively speaking, not very good at making trucks and is very good at making cars. Right? Everyone has things that they're good at, that they can specialize at, but in this first case here where you're making all trucks, you have everybody in there. So you want to take away the person who is least productive in there. So to make that first car, all right, you're taking away not a very productive truck maker. And so you're only losing 1 truck. Now you want to make a second car. Well, you don't have the worst truck maker left over there because you already took that person out. But now you have somebody else. All right, you have other people in there who aren't quite as bad at making trucks, but they're still not to the same level as the good people. So you're going to take away kind of the bottom of the barrel people there again, and or the people who are, comparatively speaking, better making cars. So to make that second car, you're still not giving up that many trucks, but you're going to give up more than the first because you're pulling out less productive workers. Now, as this continues to go on, when you're now making 7 cars, the only people that you have left making trucks are the most productive ones. And so when you pull them out, the cost of going from 7 to 8, that's going to have the largest cost, the largest drop in truck production. And so this is why you see this case here where the more you produce, the more additional units, the higher the cost becomes. So basically what you have, and this is the case in almost across the board when it comes to production of products, you have increasing costs. All right, the opportunity cost is increasing. So just to sum up here with the whole idea of the production possibility frontier, this frontier is the maximum combination of goods and services that can be produced, this line. All right. Any point along this line, we are said to be efficient. The firm is using all of their resources the best that they can. Anywhere inside, it's attainable, the firm can get there, but it's not efficient. They can make more of one or both of the goods and not have to worry about making less of the other. Anywhere on the outside, however, is unattainable. They cannot get there because the production possibility frontier represents the maximum combination that can be obtained. Now, as you move along this production possibility frontier, there's a trade-off. And this again goes back to the idea of production efficiency. You cannot make more of one good without making less of the other. So to go from point A here to point B, you want to make more cars, you have to give up trucks. So there's a trade-off there. With the case most of the time, we have these increasing opportunity costs, which is what that trade-off is. And the opportunity cost is steadily increasing. That's because the more and more you make of something, each additional unit is going to cost you more and more. And so that's why we see this shape of the curve here.